Well, this is your Uncle Steve in the house. How's it going there? It is Monday. It is December the 19th. You have, well, if you're smart, you probably have at least about 3 to 4 days before Christmas shopping. Hopefully everyone is out there, has done most of their stuff. I hope so. And look, our Christmas gift probably is not going to come true this year. And that's a playoff berth for the Atlanta Falcons as we took one on the chin yesterday to our hated rivals for the second time this year, the New Orleans Saints, and a heartbreaking loss. Is just as heartbreaking as it was the first week of the season, 21-18. The debut of Desmond Ridder. I know a lot of people were talking about that, and listen, I'm going to say this without trying to make it more than it is. Desmond Ridder is a rookie quarterback starting in hostile territory, arguably for the Falcons, one of the most hostile territories in New Orleans. And, he wasn't going to be the next coming of Joe Montana yesterday. I know we wanted him to be. I know as fans, that's the dialogue. Ridder takes over for Mariota. All of a sudden, we become this high-flying team. It's going to take the kid time. And it's not 100% whether the kid is going to be here for the whole thing. So you got a couple of days to figure it out. A lot of good with Ridder. I like the fact that he didn't quit at the end. I like the fact that he was really managing a nice game-winning drive. But today, when we start looking at it, he was a rookie, and that was his first time coming in the game. So I'm not one to go through all of the hullabaloo about, oh, well, we got rid of Mariota and this is what y'all got. Ha, ha, ha. Which is crazy to me that we have fans like that. You get behind, in my opinion, as a fan, I think you get behind whoever's there. But again, I know we're in a sarcastic world where everybody wants to be not even a comedian. You just want to be that Debbie Downer, which I call. For everything has to be negative centric when it comes to this team, and it kind of ticks me off. But at the same time, it is what it is. You get a lot of opinions here, and no opinion is wrong. But I just hate the it's not even pessimism. And now it's just like, I told you so. I told you so. What does I told you so get us? I like, I don't understand that. This attitude of, well, I told y'all you need to address the defense. I need to address the offensive line. You need to address this. All things that are true, but what does that have to do with not supporting your team? That baffles me. It baffles me as a longtime fan. I think in some ways social media is a blessing and a curse in disguise, because I think some people want to be heard for alternative reasons. Like, you just want to spew your negative stuff out, which is fine. If that's how you want to rock, that's nice. But you know what? That's what led me to my question today. And if you guys and girls look at in the stream, I actually put, if you see up there where it says Uncle Steve's Lounge, what I like to do is I like to do something a little different today. And we'll still read comments and we'll still go in and stuff like that. But I would like to hear in maybe 1 to 2 minutes. We're not gonna drown it out the whole way, but I would like to hear, especially from those of you who haven't been on before. I mean, I love to have the people who are on, but for those of you who haven't been on before, click the link up there and come into the studio, and just you'll have and if you're new to the streaming, where you got your camera up and you're seeing, come on in and just tell me where you are as a fan. And let me make sure I preface that. I'm not asking you what we need for 2023. I'm not asking you who we should get in the first round. I'm not asking you if we should start somebody over another person. I'm not asking you that. You can bring a little bit of that into it, but I'm not asking you. But I really just want to get a feel of where you are as a fan, and as a fan, where you are with this team. Just an encapsulation so far of 2022 and how we're going to do it. I'm going to run off a couple of comments. We already got somebody in the background, so I'm going to run this off real quick. RJ, what's going on? Says Caleb Huntley suffered a season-ending Achilles injury, and I did see that. And I actually posted probably about 30 minutes about that. Just shout out to my guy Caleb Huntley, who came in, was actually got cut, signed to the practice squad, brought in when Damian Williams went down, and man, we found just a rock solid backup running back. And in some cases, when I think back to that Cleveland game, how he single-handedly, in my opinion, changed the momentum of that game to where we got one of our only 5 wins of the year. So, yeah, just shout out to him. Hopefully he'll be good for next year. Rusty, what's going on, man? Was actually listening to a Patriots podcast to see how miserable their fans are. Misery loves company. That was just the most ridiculous. I know Bill Belichick, I would have paid money to hear that rant in the locker room against the Patriots when that went down. Anthony, how you doing, sir? Say, glad you had a great time. Oh, man, I had a ball, man. We had a ball. The family and I didn't get it. My wife and daughter accompanied me this time. My son was a little under the weather. He was sick to his stomach physically and mentally because he really wanted to go to this game. So I hated that he wasn't able to go, but we had a great time in there. Winston, what's going on, brother? How you doing today? RJ's in the house. What's up? Charles B, I see you. David, out of my feels right now. Scooter says, I said playing the Aints was going to be hard. He will be much more comfortable next week. So against the Ravens, because it won't be as much pressure. I hope not. I got people populating in the end, and I'm going to pop y'all in one at a time and bring you in. First is my brother Greg. How you doing, Greg? How you doing out there, brother?
What's going on, Unc? How you been, man? I seen you representing.
Dude, let me tell you something. And it's so funny because most of the time when I go to the games, my road dog is my son. So he's used to me by now. And
Okay.
she wasn't quite well, she wasn't quite ready for the verbal assaults that I had for the Saints fans because win or loss, I'm gonna rep my Falcons. So
Me too, man. Me too. I can't help it, man. I mean, that like you were speaking of. It's some of these foul weather fans is killing me, man. He's a rookie, and this is the thing. If people actually paid attention to the game, once he got off them starting jitters, he played pretty decent, man. He didn't do that bad.
he came super close to he came super close to bringing us back. So I'm gonna start you off, Greg. You are the man. I'm gonna start you off. Give me, and I see you, Dre, and I see Anthony. We're gonna bring y'all in 1 second. I'm gonna try to do this exactly like I said. The clock is the show is yours. I'm gonna give you about 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Tell me what your feel is on this team right now. And again, I'm not talking specific moves, but your feeling as a fan, Greg. And I know you're the right person to start this off. So give me your feelings about the Falcons right now.
We are pretty much in any position of a rebuilding team, man. I mean, you can't Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't expect so much from so little, man. You got to give the people time. You got to remember, they just start getting the pieces that they need. Like we found Huntley. We came up on Huntley. We coming up on pieces. Look how the defense played yesterday. How many times we ever seen this defense go down like that? Let's keep it a buck, man. I'm talking about make drives on the defense that make us look decent. We ain't hardly never seen it from the defense. Let's keep it honest. I'm talking about stop and drive plays from the defense.
Everybody points out the first 14 points, and I appreciate that. But I want you to finish this before I let you go and go to Anthony's going to be next.
Okay.
How many points did Pittsburgh score against us?
What it was?
I'll help you. 19. How many points did Washington score against us? I'll help you. 19. How many points yesterday did New Orleans score against us?
18.
21. We had 18. 21. My point is.
You know what I mean.
My point is. No, I know exactly what you mean. That's why I'm working with you because come on, Greg. You know you got credit. Listen, if my defense is only, I'm not talking about 500 yards. I'm not talking about 500 yards of offense. How many points did New Orleans score? 21. If I can't score 21 points against an NFL team, I got bigger problems. You see what I'm saying? I got bigger problems. So, brother, you are right on point. I appreciate you, man. Look, this thing getting populated like I don't know what. Go ahead.
Man, one more thing. What's his name? London. People forgetting. London is still a rookie too. There are gonna be mistakes. They're rookies. Give them time to absorb the game. They're rookies, man.
Go to Jerry Rice. And Jerry Rice had the luxury of joining a Super Bowl team already. All day. See, they don't remember that. People want to talk about all the stuff now. They don't know that, man. Greg, you are the man, brother. I'm gonna get all these folks on. Please stay on and populate the comments for me, my brother. Appreciate you, brother. All right, we got Anthony in the house, and that's my brother Anthony, man. I'm always looking at your posts. You always got a positive out. And listen, the one thing I like about you is you keep it real. I saw you kind of get into it with folks about it, but I think you kind of are that guy that I'm talking about. And guy and gal, let me make sure I'm saying this because the ladies be representing like my wife about this team too. Anthony, where are you emotionally about the Atlanta Falcons in 2022?
My emotions are good. I understood coming into the season this was gonna be a rebuild, regardless of how many wins you got. I wasn't looking for win. Of course, as a fan, you look for wins, but you look at positive and negative. Positive, you finally got Desmond Ritter in. He played like a rookie. He made some good plays. He made some bad plays. Defense fought hard after that first 14 points. To not give up but 7 points after that, they did good. This team is young. The team is fighting. You got a coaching staff who's still young, and I feel good about it. We understand everybody want to win. Everybody want to go 12-5, 13-4, but right now we ain't at that place. It's a slow rebuild. I'm good with it. I was good with it at the beginning of the season, and I'm good with it now. I'm not even tripping because I understand what they're trying to do.
That and you, like I said before, you and I got a couple of other ones. Brother Winston is in the house too, and I'm gonna get to him in a second. I see Dave too. Those are guys like you that speak truth about this thing. This was always a rebuild. Let's not try. Listen, I love all of the maybe in the NFC South that we can get. I love it. We'll never stifle that. But at the end of the day, we playing a lot of rookies and we playing a lot of folks who normally wouldn't be on an NFL roster right now. Before I break with you, let me ask you one more question. Give me the most positive sign going into 2023. I'm gonna ask this to all of y'all, so get ready. The most positive sign going into 2023, what you see with this Falcons team.
The offensive line,
Yeah.
run blocking like they have. I did not see at the beginning of the season that we have a top 5 rushing attack. You couldn't have gave me enough money to bet in Vegas for that to happen. I mean, you just couldn't do it. And the fact that they fighting their butts off, even with injuries, you got to remember we had 3 left guards this season already,
Right.
and they still running the ball. So I think going into 2023, the offensive line get a little better in pass blocking, get the play calling more creative. They'll be good.
Man, you are awesome, man. Anthony, please stay in the comments, man, and keep commenting with us. Thank you again, brother. I got to bring you in on our draft show next year. Hang around with me, brother. I need you. You take care, man.
All right, bro. Y'all be good, man.
Be good, man. I see Dre in there. I can't see whether he's on the camera or not, but I'm going to pull in Winston because I saw Winston come in, and Winston, one of our road dogs from in the season when he come in. What are you delivering mail? What you got? Like you got a mail hat on, man. You stealing one of my mail hats.
Go ahead, man.
It is cold out there. It is kind of chilly.
Yeah,
Winston,
it's cold.
And Winston, I'm gonna probably bring you back. Tidy is supposed to be joining to help me co-host in a little bit, but and I'll probably bring you back in here after I get a couple of more folks in here. But
no problem,
because we're going to talk about the game. Give me Winston's emotional mindset about this Falcons team in 2023. I'm sorry, 2022. Right now.
Right now, I think fans, for the most part, a lot can see it realistically. A lot got enamored with the early wins, and it drove them off the lid. You have to understand that this is a team that has the most one-year contracts in the league. There's a reason why they're one-year contract. There's a reason why they wasn't picked up on other teams. This is all bargain bin. For us to get 5 wins out of this, out of what cobbled together to have a 53-man roster, is a testament to the coaching. I think, to be honest, I believe Ritter probably would have ended up giving us a score. I think we would have got a touchdown yesterday if Drake hadn't fumbled. But we'll leave that for later. But
yeah.
Right now, I'm proud of this team. I'm not upset with where we are, because at the same time, this is a rebuild. And a lot of people not understanding that because we won games early. So they were like, all right, well, if we can win early against this harder slate, we should be able to win all year long. But you got to understand, this is an entirely different scheme that we're running, because we're run-centric this year. Last year, we were throwing the ball. So early in the season, teams wasn't ready for that. And we still been able to run the ball, but all right,
Well, as long as we stop them from throwing, we're gonna beat them, or we have a good shot of beating them,
I
and we
think
haven't adjusted it.
I think you probably answered the question I was going to ask you. What is your bright spot going into 2023? I think you probably said it, but
This
what is
run game,
yeah,
this run game is
yeah,
legit.
yeah.
It's legit. And Tyler Edgill, man, 17 for 139 and a touchdown. Come on, man. Come on, man.
So I really want you to stick around and stay in the. I'm gonna holler for you in a little bit to come back in when Tidy comes back and we have our little normal forum when we come in. I'm gonna get to a couple of the guys we have to talk
I'm gonna
to.
charge my phone up.
Yeah.
I'm just getting off of work.
you know you wanted the cats, man. So come on. I'm gonna get you back in here. We're gonna go to one of my buddies, man, who've been really with me since the beginning. And when we were on the phone calling, I just said to myself, you know what? We do good just getting on this camera, man. Brother David is in the house. What is going on, my friend?
What's going on, Steve, man?
And it is great to hear your voice. And I thought about you a lot yesterday, and Winston kind of echoed it. I'm not supposed to talk about the game because I'm going to come back to that because I really have a specific question. But it bothered me yesterday when we tried to force those long passes early with Ritter, because when I'm looking at our 200-yard day and I'm looking at Saints getting pushed off the ball 3 to 4 yards as Algier is gashing, just a bonus question for you. Should we have mixed in that run earlier than we did?
Yes, we should have. And I said this on Titus Live yesterday. Mm-hmm. He did not run the ball enough early to get the kids settled in.
Right.
And my problem with that first deep pass, Steve, was personnel grouping. Okay. You don't now, as I discussed on Titus yesterday, now you want to throw that as a wheel route out the Cordero. I'm good and fine with that. Right. You do not throw that with Cordero with a corner on him. You
No. He lost what, 4 yards on that?
No, it was a deep pass that was
the deep pass. You know what he was trying to do? I'm gonna tell you what they were doing. You know what they were doing? Remember, think back in history last year in the
dome. But he got to remember that was a wheel route that he got Cordero free on.
I think, and it was the wheel, but I think I don't know what it is about Arthur Smith. There's something that makes me think he outsmarts himself on situations like that. He outsmarts himself, and that bothers me. That he does that. So
all the time.
I just don't get it. Okay, brother, let me put the question to you. And if Dre, if you're in there, I see you down there, brother. I'm not seeing you on camera, so I just want to make sure you're there. If you're there, give me a little wave or something so I can let you know to bring you in. David, where are you emotionally? Again, not as a GM, not for moves. Where are you emotionally as a fan right now about the 2022 season?
Emotionally right now, I'm good because it's about what I predicted anyway when we first started this season. We on pace for about 6-11, and that's about where we're at. That's about where we were going. That's about where we were going to be for the situation that we got left in. People got to remember, Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot came into an absolute mess as far as the cap is concerned.
Right.
They came into an absolute mess.
Right.
And you can and how much can we really expect from them? I mean, thing of it is this here. Like they said, we sit up here with a top 5 rushing game with a 5th round pick, an undrafted free agent, and a converted wide receiver. And now a rookie quarterback. and we are what, fourth, fifth in the league in rushing.
Right.
I mean, and for those who sit up here talking about who you feeling, talking about fire Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot in over his head, what are you expecting them to do right now? What are you expecting them to do right now?
I say again, and Winston, I brought you back up in here because you're in that same boat where you were echoing that too. Well, y'all remember when Walmart used to have those, and I thought about it when Winston said it. Remember they used to have them big barrels, and it would be the old DVDs or old CDs that you can dig down there and get it there like $5. And
5 for 5, you in there?
Yeah.
for 2 years in a row, Terry had dug in and they reached in and grabbed some of them oldies but good, and I say old but good, but cheap CDs, and that's what they've been working with. And I don't know. To your point, David, it's frustrating. I would never tell people how to feel about the Falcons. That's why I want to get it from everybody else. But it does frustrate me when I hear Ritter came in there for his first game. And there are folks that thought he was going to go 30 for 40 for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and have a 140 rating.
Folks, please say defense ain't that bad. Even with
there are people that actually think that, which bothers me. Yeah, I don't want to get into the real fan stuff or real knowledgeable, but I'm saying the odds were against him. But you know what I do like, fellas? I like that he went into New Orleans. I like that he went into a hostile crowd, which they were hostile. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that they brought 6 every time they knew it was a passing situation on Ritter. Every time. So he got a baptism into NFL play yesterday. And I think it's going to end up helping him, Winston, towards that. What do you think about how Ritter handled the pressure yesterday?
To be honest, I think once he finally settled down and Arthur Smith stopped calling bonehead plays,
right,
I think he handled it pretty well. Because
right.
you gotta understand, like, a lot of people only see the bad, where Drake London had the fumble at the end of that drive, but during that drive, he made a couple key throws.
Hey Winston, I'm gonna pull you down for a minute. You might be driving down in the New Orleans swamp. While you doing that, I'm gonna bring in my brother Dre. Dre, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to have you in the house. I'm gonna put the question to you, my friend, and I appreciate you joining us on here. Where are you emotionally about the Falcons in 2022 at this moment? Where are you?
Hey, as a fan, Las Vegas had us not winning 4 games. And Steve, we put our money on it. We bet on it.
You know what I'm pulling out, right?
He done made some money.
I'm already listen. I'm trying to wait for date night with my wife for us to go out here and get my money. So I already did it. Go ahead, Dre. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother.
But as a fan, you can't you got to think about it as building a house. You can't start with just bricks. You got to start one brick at a time.
Yeah.
When they benched Mariota, that was the brick we needed. But you got to realize, if it wasn't for London on Sunday,
yeah,
Ritter wouldn't have had a catch.
Not at all. Yeah. London did catch a lot of stuff that he had coming, and London's going to learn. He's going to learn that when you go in it, when you're in those situations, defensive players are taught to get that ball out of your hands. It's the second time he's done it this year. I know he's going to learn about that. I'm going to ask you one more question. So, Dre, as far as going forward into this 2023 season, what's the one positive you can carry over, you think, into the 2023 season for the Falcons that you see going on right now?
We got a strong quarterback going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people were criticizing him. Listen, I'm not here to tell you the man's Tom Brady. I'm not here to tell you the man is Drew Brees or Peyton Manning. But that last drive alone said he got beat up. He didn't have 100 yards passing, but on the last drive, he still had enough to where he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring this team to this win." And if not for that unfortunate fumble, I think we'd be talking about a nice comeback for the Rook. And that's go ahead. I'm sorry.
And Steve, and Steve, this is what I love. This is what I love, Steve. This is what I saw yesterday. What I love. Even at 14 down, I was looking at the kid's body language. He never looked defeated. He never looked like, oh Lord, what I'm gonna do now. He never looked defeated. Looked a little panicky with his reads and stuff. Okay, that's fine, but he never looked defeated. He always looked like, okay, I'm finna go back out here. I'm finna figure this out.
And you can't teach that. That's the part you cannot teach. You can teach throwing mechanisms. You can teach play calling and how quick to get it in, but you can't teach that beating he took from that defensive line and still on the last drive. Like, remember where that drive started, y'all? That drive started inside the 5, right?
The 5-yard line.
5-yard line. And so the fact that he had us on the trajectory of victory, I'm telling y'all, I don't know, y'all. I'm not trying to say the second coming. I'm just saying there are some positives about that. Thanks, Winston. I didn't want to take you out, man. You were sounding like one of them old Mr. Roboto cartoons and stuff a few minutes ago. And my brother Dre, listen, I appreciate you coming in, and I'm gonna get you back in here some more. Thank you for listening, and stay in the comments for me and keep contributing to it, man. Thank you, my brother.
All right.
Thanks, man. And I appreciate, and anybody else that's listening to us right now, we're gonna have y'all go to the top of the link. You'll see Uncle Steve's Lounge, and if you want to come in, I'm just trying to get a feel, especially for my folks like Dre, who normally don't come in, and our panel just try to break it down. Let me get some of the questions that y'all can help me answer since y'all on here. My brother Alberto, 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Y'all check him out on YouTube. Sub him up if you can. He's talking about Ritter. Said, I loved his makeup for this game. He did a good job managing, produced, albeit not to everyone's liking. The future was on Showcase, Tyler, London, and Ritter. And we haven't even started to talk about Tyler, with the exception of Winston that broke it down. David, Tyler Algier going forward in 2023. Have we found our new running back one?
Man, dude,
we have in the fifth round at that. I mean, Steve, he finished his run so tough.
Right.
He finished his run so tough. He is bruising.
If that man gets 17 carries and able to produce close to what he did yesterday, if he can get 17 carries over the next 3 games, he's going over 1,000 yards on his rookie year as a product of a running back by committee team. That's saying something. If you're able to get 1,000 yards and you running and you splitting carries, where majority of the season you getting 10 carries, CP getting 10 carries, and then Caleb Hunter getting 5 to 6, that's saying something,
bruh. I mean, I'm starting to get, and I'm not comparing him to him playing size, but I keep thinking about the year that we foolishly picked up Steven Jackson, yet we had Devonta Freeman that we got in the 5th round, I think it was, out of Florida State. Fourth round out of Florida State. And Devonta ended up, giving us what he got. I know at the end we probably shouldn't have paid him all that money, but as a 4th round pick, to be able to come in and lift this running game was just awesome. We'll go by a couple more folks on here. Anthony Booker's in the house. What's going on, bro? Bro, Anthony, slip in here for me for a quick second. I know you one of the cats that always come in here. Julie, how you doing? She said she loves the kid. Talking about Ritter. I know Julie rides 100% ride or die with these Falcons. And John Harris says Huntley really jump-started our running game. He did. Coming in here, Tim McCarthy. What's going on, Tim? How you doing? Brother Lee Jackson, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Glad to see you come in the house and do what you got to do. RC Plane Builders, a tough start for Ritter, but the future is bright. Facebook user says, I am a diehard fan. We can rebuild, just waiting. Quarterback did good for the first time coming out. My brother Clayton Murray is in the house. Clayton says, I hate London fumble, but I have to remember Julio fumbled too. D-Hop done it last week. It doesn't mean he's not great. The loss on tomorrow. Sorry, Smith. 4 minutes left. You should have run the clock out. Ritter did what he expected. The only thing I see he do scared is that he scared. Oh, stare down. He meant stare down a wide receiver. You're absolutely right. He did a lot of that. But I believe he will correct it. And another thing, when the Aints got their second TD, it was a hold and the referee didn't call. I saw that as well. I always kind of focus. It's so funny because Taysom Hill, whenever I see him with the ball, I'm thinking run. So I was like, yeah, that was a hold coming in on that too. Let me ask y'all a question before I go with more of these comments. Drake London, his probably first game of volume. He had 11 targets, so that's pretty good. What do you think? I think I like his makeup. I like his spring. We can correct the fumble stuff. You can correct that. But starting with you, Winston, I'm gonna work today. What are your thoughts on Drake London as a wide receiver?
Drake London, if we can get the right quarterback, and that's not saying that Desmond Ritter isn't it. The verdict is still out on him. I do think Ritter has a very good shot of being the quarterback. But if we can get the right quarterback that can catch him like in stride, I think we may got something. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm an Oregon fan. So I seen Drake London his whole college career. You know what I'm saying?
You were sad to see Marcus Mariota go.
No.
You the one that just declared. Hold on. You just declared your love for Oregon. Don't sit up here. Hold on, Winston. You probably got a quality Joey Harrington jersey around somewhere too, don't you?
I'm on the mindset of if you're not having the team, you can catch that midnight train to Georgia or the midnight train out of Georgia. Either or. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You know I'm messing with you, bro. Go ahead.
But I've watched him. I've watched him give us problems. I've watched him give us problems. All you gotta do is put it in his vicinity. He's gonna go after it.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, Dave, what you think about Drake London, man? The year, what do we have in him going forward?
He gonna be just fine. I love the dog in him. I love the dog in him right now. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I mean, okay, really, y'all, there's been 2 mistakes with him. There's been 2 mistakes. So, I mean, that you know what I'm saying? The Rams game and yesterday, those are really the only 2 big mistakes we've had from Drake. So I think he's gonna be just fine. And I think, the future is real bright.
San Diego.
Yeah. The Chargers game. The Chargers game. Yeah. Winston, come back in here, man. I think you were going robotic on us. Speaking of robotic, down at the bottom of the thing, there's our brother now. First of all, what's going on, brother?
Brethren, how are you doing, brethren?
We doing all right, man. And look, right on time with you is my other brother, my red solo cup drinking, cigar chewing, Warner Robins crying over high school losses. Brother. And I needed him yesterday. In New Orleans with me because I was trying to handle them folks by myself and I couldn't do it. Toddy, why did I see you on that Delta flight coming to New Orleans to help a brother out?
Well, Steve, unlike yourself, I'm not next door neighbors to Arthur Blank. Let me tell you, Steve, it's very close to Christmas. I don't have access to private jets, So I'm one of the little people in the world. I'm not in that 1% like you are, Steve.
Man, I walked.
I'm telling you how big time Steve is. Steve flew to watch the game and hopped right back on the jet and came right back home. He's already back in Hurricane County. It ain't even been 24 hours yet. That man already off that jet. Steve, I got like that, dog.
And so for the record, I was watching you on the plane do your show. So I was kind of jealous because I wish I could come in there, man. But before I get to the question, Toddy, because I told everybody we were going to tee this up today, just wanted to get the feel of the fans. And I don't know if you've been listening. We had a couple of people haven't been in before. And y'all can still come in. If y'all see 4 people, don't get scared. Toddy will tell you, we had about 12 in here on draft night. Yes, sir. So tell me, man, because I didn't get to hear the beginning. Give me your overall Ritter. I don't even want to say grade because I don't want to step on your thing on that, but the feel for Ritter. Just as a first time slapping my hand, my feet on the ground, what you thought about him?
You want me to be an honest Falcons?
I want the honest. Come on, bro. I can't get fake from you, man. Come on, dude. I don't want fake. I don't want the Devonta Freeman version. I want the tiny version. The real version.
Wait a minute.
I dissed him. I dissed Devonta. Y'all don't realize me and Tiny went back and forth on that. Y'all, that's gonna be my forever biggest argument.
I know good and well Tiny Jones ain't talking about do you want me to give I know good and well the original band. Come on,
See the response you got, man.
Come on, man.
I'm just asking, man, because the fan base been on my top.
I don't care, man. We ain't scared. We ain't scared. We been scared. Come on. Let me get that Warner Robins losing the final kind of thing going on. Come on, bro.
Don't do that, Steve.
I know Douglas High ain't nowhere near. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna tell y'all the honest truth, man. My opinion on Ritter. As far as his performance goes yesterday, I gotta be honest, y'all. I think it was bad. If you want to dig even deeper into it, I think it was a terrible performance by a quarterback. But this is the thing: he's a rookie. That's okay. That's totally fine. We can take that from a rookie starting his first NFL game in hostile territory against a hated division rival. That's not something you accept from the last 2 quarterbacks, Mariota or Matt Ryan. But overall, Steve, it was not a good performance. I just gotta be totally honest, man. I watched the game live, of course, and then I went back and I said, you know what? Let me watch every single play that Ritter did on offense and see if I come with a different conclusion on his play. And the second time I watched it, it was even worse. If I'm just being totally honest, he missed a lot of guys. He forced a lot of passes. He was locked on to his best boy, Drake London, pretty much the entire game. He was doing something that your partner John Harris used to kill Matt Ryan for, just being locked in on one receiver. He also, realistically, there should have been 2 interceptions. One should have been a pick 6. The other one, the other guy just had that Desmond Trufant in him. You know, he couldn't come down with the interception. But trust me, and that's probably why he playing DB and not wide receiver, because he should have intercepted that ball.
Yes, he should.
But I saw just a guy that was super nervous 85% of the game. He started to settle down once the fourth quarter got there, got a little bit in rhythm. And I expected him to be nervous. I expected him to have the jitters. Anytime I've always started a brand new job, my first day, I've always been nervous too. So I expect that. But that's just being honest. You know, he was a rookie. I'm good with a rookie looking bad. I'm good with a rookie looking terrible. At this point, going forward, the next 3 games, just hopefully he get progressively better. But I can't lie to you, Steve. I can't lie to you, David. I can't lie to you, John Harris. I especially can't lie to John Harris, because he one of the pioneers of just telling it straight like it is. He was not good. He was not good. And I said yesterday, I saw why Arthur Smith was so reluctant to start him, because he just wasn't ready for the big leagues yet. And that was evident yesterday, gentlemen.
I not only there's a lot there where you came from, John. Real quick, I'm gonna come back to that real quick. John, tell us your just same thing, same question. Your overall thoughts on Ritter yesterday,
gentlemen. Do you realize that we haven't started a rookie since Michael Vick?
What happened in 08?
Matt.
What happened in 08?
Matt was
I mean, and I should have prefaced it by saying Matt Ryan. You haven't started a rookie since Matt Ryan, and then Michael Vick before that. And especially
Matt Shaw.
Yeah, and what year was Matt Shaw?
Was it that same year? No, Matt Shaw was the second year. That was his second year. That was his second year. My bad.
Then in the middle of a season, or during a season, where, you know, you had fans clap, and man, I'm telling you, this might be Arthur Smith's thumb to the eye to all of the fans that wanted to start Ritter. You know what? There might have been Arthur Smith. Oh, you want me to start him? Here you go. One of them Three Stooges, 2 fingers in the eye.
But you could, but if he was, and I hear what you're saying, if he was playing Kyle Shanahan, Roddy White against the Colts, or was that the Colts or the Vikings? I keep saying that game.
Vikings.
The Vikings. I thought it was the Colts too. I thought it was the Colts too. I thought it was the Colts game.
Yeah, might be.
If you want to play that game of, and if you all know it, I know y'all remember the let's let Roddy get in the game, and Kyle said, "Okay, let me throw it to 2 or 3 straight times and do that."
He trolled him.
He trolled basically before the word even came in. That was the basic troll. Here's my problem with that scenario. You don't have the equity to do that. If you want to play the let me just throw him in unprepared.
Steve, hold up. That's not the one I was going with. I was just going with the regular old Arthur Smith being ornery. Not following behind nobody.
But
see, you know how Arthur Smith is.
But here's the thing. Hold on. Here's the thing. You're Arthur Smith. You don't have the luxury at this point in your coaching career
I agree.
to be playing games with, if anything, even when they told, I don't care what anybody says, somebody told him to start Ritter. Even if they told you to start Ritter, with your job as it's been, you have not won. You're the first Falcon coach, sans Bobby Petrino, to not have a winning season in his first 2 years. And you sitting there want to still pout because somebody made you switch quarterbacks. I would have had Ritter even more ready. I would have had him more ready.
Well, hey, see, that was impossible.
No.
And you know why I'm saying that.
You could have. You know what? You know how you could have had him ready. You don't throw 30-yard pass. David alluded to it too. You don't throw 30-yard passes down the field on the first play. You use your strength. Your strength on this team is what? Let's all say it. Running the ball. So if I have a fresh-faced rookie, I would have been Drew Brees. I would have gave the Saints fans Drew Brees. I would have been dumping, dinking to get his, confidence. There you go. Thank you, Tidy. His confidence. And then every now and then throw a 10-yarder, throw a 15-yarder. Because the truth is, as we can talk about his mental, I still say everything you said was right, Tidy. I do say after having one of the worst statistical days as a quarterback, to have the moxie inside the 10, inside the 5, to bring that team all the way out to where you brought them, I think really showed a lot from him. Now, again, that you got to add in the other 3 quarters too, but I still think that showed a lot from his end.
Well, that speaks volumes as to the person that he is, because he did, he drove you down. He drove you down from his back up against the end zone all the way down there to within reach of scoring. And going back to how I feel about this, now I remember, now I came on with Tidy yesterday, and I thought about what it was that I was saying, because I was kind of confused as to how I really felt about this situation. But one thing I had to remember, and as I realized over thinking about it overnight, is the fact that, number one, this is the first time in a very, very long time that we've replaced a quarterback midstream. Very long time. Yeah. Then this man is a rookie. He is not an expert. So I usually give rookies a year. Rookie teams, rookie players, things of that sort. I give them a year before I start hanging foot. And this is something that I've got to do with him. And the good thing about it is that those almost interceptions, those almost bad plays that he had, those things should register here. No, I'm in a faster environment. I can't get away with that. I'm going to have to be faster. I'm going to have to be quicker. I'm going to have to be more accurate, and those things are building blocks for him later on in his, and plus the fact somebody brought out, it was Tidy, about him staring at folk before he threw the ball. So see, thing is that you get this out of your system now. You don't worry about this later on. You don't regress. So I'm saying that before I can say that he is bad as a quarterback, got to see more work. Got to see the progression. Got to see what's coming up next week. And he heading into a cold stadium next week, buddy. Yep.
You're like in the 30s, isn't it?
Hey,
they talk about single digits.
We're gonna be worse off.
I've heard single digits.
Yeah, we're gonna be worse off than them. We're gonna be down in the teens. But he's going to Baltimore next week. So, we'll see. And we're going to have to rely heavily upon that running game. And, man, I sure hated that Huntley got hurt, man. Yeah. They said it was an ankle sprain or something of that nature. But, see, Achilles tendon, that's 6 months guaranteed, man.
There was no guarantee Huntley was probably coming back anyway, if I'm real. The crowd, the running back room is crowded as it is. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, but my thing was because I was one of those on Tidy's show yesterday saying the receivers were not open, and then I said, wait a minute, hold on, let me go back and look at it again. And Kid was a little late. Kid was a little late on everything.
He was
a little late, and I take it back to one particular play where OZ had one receiver walled off, and not only was he late, he was high with OZ. And
He was, and I can't help but to remember how we dogged out Mariota for a lot of the high pass. And now I will say this to keep in mind this thing. It's a different expectation from somebody who was drafted number 2 in the draft in 2015 to make those throws after these years of experience. And for Ritter to be pinpoint on his first week, again, no excuses. I'm just saying, keep the perspective. The perspective between, and I of course, today you got the "I told you so" folks that want to tell you, see, Marcus, he did the same thing, Marcus Mariota. Here's the problem: Mariota shouldn't have been doing that anyway.
Anyway,
Marcus Mariota was not, that he shouldn't have been in that particular situation. He should have been making a lot better throws than we have. I'm gonna shout out a couple of people in here, y'all. The conversation is good, but I just always want to make sure I say hey to everybody. Philip Crawford is in the house. Appreciate you, brother. In here, and the Dixon way, brother Sheehan. Y'all check him out. Sheehan, always. I caught a little bit of him in his streaming yesterday. If y'all just want pure entertainment of people losing their mind, go check out Sheehan, whether it's Hawks or Falcons. There's some funny stuff there. Rodney Hill in the house. What's going on? Big Country in the house. What's that? Hey, Big Country, get on that.
What's up, Big Low?
Get on that link up top for me, Big Low. Come on in for a minute, man, and holler at a brother. I'm trying to get Winston in here, but Winston got that John Harris internet, and sometimes I know that.
What happened was,
yeah,
I think I used all my night and weekend minutes.
Right.
Hey man, weekend was over.
I thought it rolled over.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Now, Winston, you know some of these kids don't understand that.
Man,
I know, right?
Woo-wee.
Some of these kids do not understand them night and weekend minutes.
Hold on,
They just don't
I'm gonna
know.
take you back after 9 o'clock.
And they don't know. They have no idea, man.
I had 71 hours started after 7.
Huh? Big thing.
I'm gonna put a couple of questions up here with folks, and I want to go around and see what y'all say. Our brother Jaqual is in the house. So I don't think anyone has ever questioned Ritter's heart. He should have time to come into games and get some experience with the game speed. He hasn't had game reps since preseason. What I was actually able to see from yesterday's game wasn't bad. Now, we know Tidy has come and ripped the guy and told him he needs to be in the XFL. But Tidy, is there anything? And again, and it's fair criticism, folks. I was there. The passes were horrible. The passes were horrible. He did look a little nervous early. I'll give him that. But hey, but Tidy, are there any redeeming things that you saw from him yesterday that wouldn't make you try to rush him into the top 5 and get a quarterback?
I saw resolve late in the game, the fourth quarter. Just the resolve, like, look, today hasn't been going great, but you know what? I'm gonna keep throwing. It's kind of like, rest in peace, Kobe. Kobe could be 1 out of 13 from the 3, but you know what?
Keep shooting.
I'm gonna keep shooting. Keep shooting, Kobe.
They're gonna keep going up.
Right, and I saw that late in the game from him. He just kept it up, and we almost came back and won the game. Minus that fumble from Drake London. So I think that was something, and I think I really like his mechanics in the pocket, how he looked. And I'm just saying from his throwing motion and his throwing form. Minus him looking jittery and nervous sometimes. I really look how he would stand in the pocket at times, even when pressure would come. There were a few times he completed passes, and they knocked the S out of him.
Yeah,
and, and he bounced right back up and like, okay, let's go to the next play. And there was times also when he wasn't nervous about just tucking the ball and running it. So there was some good that I did see from the rookie yesterday. So I don't want to seem like I'm just coming down on him, but y'all told me to give it to y'all honest. So
hey man,
I wasn't saying it was. Hold on, I'm getting ready to come to you with the next thing. You're absolutely right. And again, your assessment, all kidding aside, is spot on. I think he had a D+ performance, and I think he redeemed himself, showing us flashes at the end. But you didn't score. The same criticism that we gave Mariota. I said, y'all heard me like I'm putting it on repeat. 19 points against Washington, 19 points against Pittsburgh, 21 points against the Aints. If you're giving up that, you should win games. The Texans are scoring more than 21 points. The Jacksonville who actually been playing pretty good, have scored more points than that in this league. And that's why I was coming to you, John. You've told us this a lot of time. Defense helps win championships. But at the end of the day, you can let a team get 500 yards offense. If they only score 19 points, the defense has done their job. And that's why I was going to go to you with that, John.
Yeah, because that's what I was screaming yesterday. Look, I don't care if them jokers have 1,152 yards of offense.
Dang, bro.
That dial-up internet.
Look, he was talking about you, Winston, and his stuff went down. How would you get for talking about people?
Son of them.
And your audio is still. Speak again, John. Yeah, your audio is down. Yeah. Fix your audio. Fix your audio.
CD done ran out.
Fix your audio.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, listen. We don't do dial-up here. We don't do dial-up. We do regular Wi-Fi. Here, I know what you got. You can move the antenna to the right so you can help us.
Hey, be all right. I got the dog move. He's carrying the antenna on his back.
Little Rascals dog.
He ran out of it. I know everything was black.
But go ahead, John. Finish your point. I'm sorry. You went out on us.
Yeah, man. But thing is, man, you can have all the yards you want. Yeah. It's the points. It's the point, both offensively and defensively. That's the only thing that counts. But thing is, I was sitting here thinking, what kind of conversation I know we would still be as critical as we are, but I'm wondering what type of conversation everybody else would be having had we won that game. Because thing was, we were very, very close to winning that game with all of the things that he did right or wrong. We were right there at the cusp. We had stopped New Orleans 3 times straight, if I'm not correct. Yeah, we had stopped them 3 times straight. I mean, the cornerbacks were closing on those receivers and knocking the ball out of their hands the same way, which happened with Drake London, But thing is that I really have to, take and do a 30-story view of the whole thing and remember that this is year 1A of a rebuild.
Right.
This is year 1A of a rebuild. And because of that, 1B. Yeah, well, you got to pay.
Probably 1B.
1B. But at any rate, but I understand what you're saying, Winston. I understand what you're saying. And thing is that in that, my expectations were not for Super Bowl glory. They weren't even for playoff glory. Not me.
But that's why. That's why I asked, though, John. That's why I asked at the very beginning. If you see the title, Where are you emotionally about the Falcons? Not so much where are you from they didn't get enough wins for me. But as a Falcon fan, we could talk about the failures of Ritter yesterday, the failures of Mariota along the way, the camaraderie between Mariota and Pitts, Dean Pease in this incredible zone, and all good news for Dean Pease yesterday. And I was trying to explain it to folks. Yes, that was a scary scene. We were actually in the stadium very early yesterday, and we were in there, and I didn't see it when it happened, but dude was on the ground for like 15, 20 minutes and was not moving. And it was a scary situation when the Saints guy came out and apologized and all of that, which he did. There was a mistake. But just shout out to Dean Pease, man, because 73 years old and you get hit like that. And I give that man a lot of credit for being out there where he is. But talking about going forward for 2023, what out of 2022, John, I never got a chance to ask you, do you think is redeeming to go into 2023? What are you going to carry over that you say is a strength going into 2023?
The 800-pound gorilla in the room running the football. Man, I had no inkling, idea, indication, or thought that we were going to be this dominant and this good running that rock. Man, I mean, and all of our running backs from CP all the way down to Huntley, when they got in,
you might want to change that order from Algier down to Huntley.
Yeah. Yes, I'll say that. After CP went out, there was a thought, and I did see it, where the running game kind of tapered off. And that's why I said what I said about Huntley. Because, see, Huntley was the one that unlocked the lock on the offensive line. Because, see, when Huntley came in there, do you remember that series where he ran all the way to the end zone, play after play after play?
Yeah.
I mean,
big boy football.
That's when everybody figured out how to run. Don't go that side. Come around the back and put your head down. That's what I saw. And that's what I'll be taking into the next year. Now, the quarterback, you know what my pet peeve is.
I know. That's there. Yeah, I got you. Dave, Dave, and Dave, I asked you earlier, talking about Drake London, and even though despite the fumble, you still saw a lot out of him. Do you think we still are in need of another wide receiver on that other side to help out whoever's going to be quarterbacking this year? I do see a lot of good things about Drake as far as a good. You know what Drake reminds me of? Man, I'm about to be that. He reminds me of a light-skinned Roddy White. Because Roddy used to drop the ball quite a bit. With that,
but Drake ain't had nearly the drops that Roddy had his rookie season.
Dude, Roddy,
close,
man. And I know that's one of Tidy's boys. And again, Tidy, he'll dog out Ritter and then love on Roddy. but it's like, do you remember how bad Roddy looked coming into this? And he was a first round pick, man. He was a first round pick.
Steve, and I hate doing this to Tidy, but Steve, I go back to that Tampa game that would have put us in the playoffs for the first time for back-to-back seasons.
Right.
And Roddy drops that one in the end zone, and I'm just like, Rick, what are you doing?
And Tidy was right there in the corner with he had his jersey on and everything. I bet you he was sitting there rooting him on.
I was.
But Roddy got a whole lot better. Yada yada.
He did. But what about that other receiver?
And yeah, I can see because I can see the Roddy White comparison because of the dog in his kid.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid's got adequate, and the kid, believe it or not, got adequate. He got better speed than I thought he would because he didn't run that fast at the combine. But I guess it's when you put the shoulder pads on him, he get a lot faster.
It's called football speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerry Rice might have been the first person that I said, because Jerry Rice did not run a fast 40.
No, I thought Jerry Rice went 4.6 combine.
Jerry flew when he put a uniform on. But when he was in college, folks, that was the whole knock about him in Mississippi State. He went, He went late 20s. Jerry could.
Was he late 20s or what? I thought he went late 10s.
Jerry ran like a half 4.5, I want to say.
Yeah.
So Emmitt Smith ran around the same thing.
So
look at Emmitt. If Emmitt hit a crease,
I thought Watts moved up to the late teens to get him.
Who?
Jerry.
No.
He was drafted 16.
He was in the 20s.
No,
I want to say
he was 16?
16.
My bad. Hey, look, I'm going to tell y'all what.
Kid.
Don't be messing with Encyclopedia O'Brien down there, because Tidy is my stat guy. When I need those stats, it's 16. So 16. But he dropped. Tidy, if you still looking at that list, what wide receivers were before him?
Let me check. I'll tell you.
Yeah. While we
was in that draft.
Who else? Because I'm trying to think. John, who was in that draft? Somebody else was in that draft with Jerry Rice. And I'm trying to remember.
In that draft?
Well, when you called Jerry Rice's name up, I had a mental block.
Al Toon.
Al Toon.
Yeah.
Eddie Brown. And then Jerry Rice.
And Al Toon, who ended up with the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. Al Toon was so hyped that year, and goes back to what people finding out now about your HBCUs that they didn't know back then. Because him and Willie Totten, who I still think should have never got his flowers. And Willie Totten threw for 5,000 yards, I think, that year for Mississippi Valley State when they were blowing everybody else out. But I just feel like we need that other. We need that other receiver on the other side of Drake, just to, give whoever the quarterback, if it's Ritter or whoever, give them another.
I think OZ can be that other guy on the other side of Drake. I think we're gonna need somebody in the slot.
OZ need to go to the slot.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
And we get a speed receiver on the outside.
How about it?
Who was that that you picked up?
Drake played like Drake got a slow-mo game like Larry Fitz's arm jerk. He moves slow, but he's quicker than what you think he is. And he's able to bring in that ball, whether it contested or not. He's able to bring that ball in. We need somebody like an AJ Green on the other side. Hyatt, that boy out of Tennessee, will be a great fit. And move
going in the first round though.
Yeah.
Hyatt's got first round grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
He'll probably get
having the first round
20s.
grade don't mean you go in the first round.
Okay,
but we still.
I think Hyatt going
there's too much draft capital on Hyatt.
I think Hyatt going early in the second.
I would love it now, but there's just too much draft capital on Hyatt.
Yeah, I think he going in the first.
Let me ask this.
I think he's going early in the second.
Didn't we pick up a wide receiver last week supposed to be running a 4.29 or something? Didn't we pick up somebody last week?
That was the corner. That was the corner.
On the practice squad corner. Yeah.
What his name? Javelin something.
Yeah, Javelin. Yeah.
That's a corner. He ran a 4.29.
Put him, Mr. Arthur Smith, put him over on offense. Teach that boy how to catch and send him down the street.
You got Demir Burke.
You need a speed burner. Man, look here. You got that kind of speed on the side, man. Put that
You
man
got
in.
Jamel
Whoa,
Burton. You
come
got
on.
49 too.
But that don't mean he's gonna be a good wide receiver.
Yeah,
just
I
'cause
mean,
he's
I mean,
fast,
no
though.
better catch the ball.
I can't stand. I can't stand hearing y'all talk about all this speed. Speed don't mean nothing if you can't catch the ball.
No. This is the reason why I'm saying that. This is the reason why I'm saying that.
Draft speed.
Yesterday,
it ain't did nothing with
yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday.
Right.
Why didn't you flick? I want to see that boy arm. I want to see Ritter's arm yesterday.
But you can't throw to people who don't have that speed, John. I hear what you're saying, but I hear it's a dream. Yeah, but
like I said, John, personnel groupings.
If I don't have a speed burner, why am I throwing that first pass in that game? If I have Tyreek,
no, not the first one, the last one.
I don't give a damn whether it's the first or last. You still trying to score a touchdown. My thing is, listen, you need to have you have to play to your personnel. You just said it earlier. You sat here and talked about how great the run game is. You know what we should have been doing from the time the third quarter started? We should have been running the ball. And after Ritter threw that errant which should have been an interception, something woke him up and we started running the ball. I take this back to what you're talking about, the wide receiver. If I don't have that guy who can stretch the field, I don't need to be running that. If I'm Miami and Tua can throw the ball that far, I got Tyreek Hill. Lost it up. But we don't have that guy. Drake London is not that guy yet. He's a possession receiver.
No. Now, you do have Bird, as you said. Now,
man, there's a reason why Bird on this team, on his third team. Come on, bro. I'm not putting a scrub in there.
Bird does. I gotta disagree. And the reason why I gotta disagree is that your quarterback ran out of bounds yesterday. This was the last play of the game.
Okay, so who would you have thrown? So in the amazing mind of John, who would we have put out there to run the play before? I think Ritter was at if I'm not mistaken, I think we were at like the high 30s. It was something like that. Yeah. So last time I checked, I don't think he Josh Allen. I don't think he Herbert. So why am I going to put him? Why am I going to put him in a situation where he probably can't get the ball that far? This ain't the time to play. If he could do that, we would.
Hey, John, you used to kill the other guy about that.
Yeah.
Who?
The guy
look, the other guy, I knew what I had in the other guy. That joker had a Bugs Bunny on. I knew what that man had, but I don't know what this one had. I want to look. This is a desperation situation here. Desperation situation. You're trying to win the game. You're already done because you're having to start from as far back as you start. Let me see your arm, son. Let me see what you got. Fling it up there.
It wasn't a desperation situation because the momentum is switched. We started
no. Hold on. I'm talking about the
last play of the
game. I'm talking about the last play of the game. Last play of the game. You know, that's just me. I want to see what kind of arm you got, son. Let's see if we can make something work.
That looks like that, but John, that looks like about a 70 to 80 yard throw, and I don't think anybody's making that.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Wait 1 second. Go back and say that. Say that again. Say that again, David. I did say it again.
That looks like a 70 to 80 yard throw, John.
Yeah, that's about 75 yards.
All right, hold on. Toddy, what did you just say?
It's about 75 yards.
Anthony, you were looking at the game yesterday. How long was that throw?
Shoot, about 70. 65.
Okay, Winston. Hold on. Winston, Tidy, Anthony don't have glasses on. Me and David a little impaired. Winston, how long was that pass?
Yeah, it was about 7 or something.
Okay, so listen to me. I understand what you're saying about the attaboy goat. Let's see what he got. Dude, you don't try to. If anything they should have done, I would have liked to see them. Maybe you had 5 seconds. Maybe do a little 10-yard little slant, just like you did to the sideline, and see what you can do. Otherwise, you would have been.
I thought we should have started laterals.
Yeah. Well, I would have done the laterals. I would have tried one more shot. Look, 3 second. I see teams do it all the time.
30 or 40 out of bounds.
There you go.
There you go.
But
so
see that's my point. That's my point. I'm not saying throw a 70 and 80-yard pass.
But that's what it would have been. The line of scrimmage.
Hold up. It would have been 70 or 80 yards to the end zone. But throwing something where you could start lateral and completing something where you could start lateral, because you know they were playing prevent on that last play.
That's why you go lower.
So you got
30. You go 30 to 40 yards, get out of bounds.
Yeah.
Then you can get the set up for a Hail Mary shot.
He didn't do that.
Or the lateral.
He didn't even do that.
That's
my problem. He didn't even do that.
So I'm trying to go back to this situational play calling that you're making. So you telling me you would throw the ball, try to see how far he could throw it before he gets to the end zone, and then try to do a lateral. That's what you just said.
Start lateral. Start playing around.
I'm getting ready to put you on mute, man. What you talking about? Come on, bro. You know better than that.
With 5 seconds to go,
hold on. John, you've been around when Steve Bartkowski were making those kind of throws, and you know he could make them. Now, Steve Bart could throw them things 70 yards. These boys, it's only a select guys that I would trust with that.
It's 3 or 4 guys in the league that can make that throw, man, right now.
Yeah.
The NFL evaluation is from like 48 to like 50, 55.
Right.
If you can throw it somewhere in that window, they believe you have an arm to complete all NFL passes. That's 60, 70 yards. It's on a few gunslingers. Aaron Rodgers back in the day. I don't think he should have it.
I don't think he can. I'm not sure if he can do it now.
I don't think he should have it. Josh Allen, Lamar can get it down there, and
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Pat. I mean, you got to put Pat. Pat can hit anything. But outside of that, I don't see no other NFL quarterbacks going over 60-something accurately. They may be able to get it down the field, but it could be a Mariota. Like, I don't know where that ball gonna end up at. But Mariota got the arm to get it down at 60-something yards. He got the arm to get it down. Then what Zipco is gonna land in, that's something entirely different.
That's what I'm talking about. I want to see, because the thing is, last play of the game, your chances of winning the game are non-existent anyway, just about. From where we were coming from and the time that we had left, our chances of winning the game were just about non-existent. That's why they call it a Hail Mary. That's why they say fling it. Because if you fling it as far as you can get it, and you don't stack everybody in the end zone waiting on it because you know you're not going to get it there, pepper people in them, 40, 50 yards away from the line of scrimmage, y'all can start the lateral game and see what you come up with.
That's why you go 30
don't run out of bounds. Just running out of bounds stuff. Man, you didn't even try. And you should have heard the clamoring and the hollering from the networks. Why didn't he throw a helmet? Why didn't I'm asking the same question?
He basically showed his experience level on that play.
How much time we had left on the clock then? It was what?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. So, all right. If I know they're in prevent, they're not letting the deep ball be in play. Why would I not take 30 yards, a quick out, burn 3 seconds? I got 2 seconds for another play.
30 might be strong. I would 30. 30 might be strong.
30
maybe 15.
A little bit, maybe 15, yeah.
At least I'm going at least 20, 25.
Right.
30 is what I'm looking for, but I'm going at least 20, 25.
Right. Eldridge just pointed out, and appreciate you, Eldridge. I've been seeing you in the comments in here. Say, Uncle Steve, please look up the hook and ladder for Miami back in the day, and I do remember that play.
Yeah, I remember they beat Pacers.
Yes, yes.
On that one.
That's actually a good play. There are a couple of people in the chat that say you're drunk, John, and you're talking about your analysis, and I just in all seriousness. Listen, John doesn't get drunk before 6. He gets drunk after 6, so it still might be a little hangover from yesterday.
and all of them talking about I'm drunk.
A good 20 minutes.
at least I'm legal drunk.
Let me run around since we got the panel in here, and I appreciate everybody, and more importantly, appreciate everybody dialing in, and let me also give a shout out to Tidy, who's running the Atlanta Bird game, which I was watching on the plane yesterday.
On the jet.
Out the job.
That man got the private G6. He said watching YouTube videos on the plane and stuff. Oh, I'll be like you when I grow up, man.
Man, I was in the party bus.
Mine got to go in the airplane mode. Must be nice. Hey, must be nice.
Y'all check out Tidy.
Man, see the way that you be going at these New Orleans fans when they up here. Man, I told you, man, I'm just a phone call away, but I wasn't gonna be able to get down there and pull them off of you now. Man, good grief.
They didn't even celebrate like they normally do, man, because they know good and well that game meant nothing. Well, technically it does now because they're in second place. No, they're in third place.
They're in third.
They're in third place now.
We tied with third. Hold on, the Carolina won yesterday.
But let me go around the room real quick. Let me go around the room real quick and get everybody's MVP from. Yes, it was a loss, but let me get the MVPs from yesterday. I'm gonna start to go below me. Anthony, who was your MVP yesterday for the Falcons?
I mean, obviously, man, Tyler Algier, 17 rushes, 139 yards, 8.2 yards to carry, man. Rookie did his thing. I'm gonna say something about on defense real quick.
Go ahead.
You ain't gonna think about it. Renzo Carter played his butt off yesterday. Like
Renzo was good.
He was balling, and people not gonna see that because he didn't have 3 or 4 sacks. Waits at the edge. He was going after the ball. Shout out to Lorenzo Carter, man. I think he'll be here next year.
That's a good call. Winston, who you have for your MVP yesterday? And it could be the same.
Just because he said who I was gonna go with, I'm gonna go with the right side of our offensive line, the unsung heroes down in the trenches, Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGurr. Them boys to open up hole. They were dominant over there, setting the edge. They did a lot to let Algier get off the way he did.
That's actually a really good call on that. I don't understand. It still baffles me why we didn't stay with that program or either start with that program by the second drive, especially when you're down 7-0. I just think you needed to go at them a little different. New Orleans was, when it came to the running game. Think about it, y'all. We made 2 10-yard plus third downs yesterday. You don't do that with a sub offensive line.
I think we had a team a season high in rushing yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
we had like 240 something yards on the ground.
That's just amazing. Tidy, who did you have as your MVP yesterday?
Got to go with Mr. Obvious, man. Tyler, the Creator, career day, and I'll tell you this, Steve. I'm glad he chose yesterday to have his career day because I think it was Pro Football Network released their mock early last week, and they mocked us, Bijan Robinson, and people went 8S with it. And there was a decent amount of chatter on Twitter about us taking Bijan Robinson, who's an exceptional talent, but I ain't been able to get the logic, and I'm glad that Tyler had such a good game because that kind of silenced some of the critics, and they were like, "Oh, well, maybe he can be our RB1." So I think it was really perfect timing. Maybe he was saying on his Twitter, "Oh, y'all talking about Bijan Robinson? Okay, all right, let's go Sunday." So it was perfect timing to
me. But I'll take it one step further, Tyler, because my aces, Smitty and Alberto. We were in the room, and he Robinson. And here's my deal: Bijan gonna cost you. If you get him in the first round, you're not paying what you're paying Algier. And I'm not looking at Spot Track right now, but I think Algier for the next year or two is going to be a really good bargain when you're on a team that we're going to have to overpay for some defensive guys to come in here straight up. Yep. And you start looking at those bargains. And I think Algier is one of those guys. I think we'll probably be able to hold him off a year or two if he keeps it up at this pace. But I don't know why you would go out and get a running back in the first round, even as much as talented as he is. But I would shoot if I were the Falcons, I'd do like they did last year, go third round or go second round and get somebody,
Yeah, and the Falcons have done well drafting in the mid rounds for their running backs. You got Algier, and then you look at Huntley. I mean, he's an undrafted free agent. And you mentioned the salary for Algier, who's on a 4-year deal for $4 million. So you're essentially paying him $1 million a year, which in NFL money is peanuts. Last time we went to the Super Bowl, we had a 3rd round pick in Tevin Coleman. Then you had the Goat Freeman. Got the Goat in the 4th round.
He was in the 4th round.
You got the Goat in the 4th round, and you went to the Super Bowl with the Goat. So, and I just say this: outside of getting the Goat, Arthur Smith has really shown that he knows how to scheme to run the ball.
This is true.
I don't think you got to jump that high in the draft for a running back when you got Arthur Smith, number 3 in the NFL in rushing with a journeyman special teamer that nobody really wanted, which is how he ended up in Atlanta. 5th round pick, BYU, and Huntley, who had been passed around from practice squad to practice squad to practice squad, and now you find yourself with an elite running game. So and then to take it a step further, when was the last time a top tier college prospect elevated a Super Bowl team in the NFL? Like, this ain't the 80s and the 70s and the 90s anymore. So that conversation was just really mind-boggling to me. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Y'all thinking like Falcons fans right now?
That's actually a really good question. Who's the last really top tier, top 5, top 10 running back to take his team to the promised land?
Been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Not since the modern day passing era has started. None of them have done
it. It does.
Well,
John, who was your MVP? Who was your MVP yesterday?
Tyler Algier, but surprisingly, I know it's going to be a lot of you. Desmond Ridder. I'm going to say Desmond Ridder too, because going down to New Orleans with all of that on your back and almost winning the game, I got to give that man some props there, because I got to give him some props. But Tyler Algier is the obvious number one for me yesterday. And with honorable mention to Grady Jarrett, because, man, they were holding him. They were pulling him. I didn't think the man was going to have any clothes on after the end of the game, because they were doing everything they could to keep that man from getting back there. But Grady Jarrett, man, look, you have my eternal respect. Even when some folk didn't wanted to trade him.
Steve be saying some wild stuff, man.
Hey, You already know who said that. Y'all already know who tried to ship Grady off before the year started.
Steve,
Y'all,
he come from Bible
to get it
study. He
going.
hit that wine and he just started talking.
hold on, let me point that way.
Telling y'all, after Bible study, Steve hit that wine and he just started talking. Boy, I don't know what's
Hey, Jesus made it. Jesus made it.
Tiny, should we get rid of Grady? Man, get rid of Grady, man. We paying him too much, man. Get rid of Grady.
I don't know what
They
Steve
did
was
it,
thinking
that
on
man
that.
need a pay raise.
Dave, who you had as your MVP yesterday, brother?
It's got to be Tyler Algier, and I'm gonna give a special recognition to Caleb McGarry.
Yeah.
Because he was sealing off them edges yesterday. He really sealed off them edges yesterday. So the MVP was Tyler, but you got to get some special recognition to Caleb McGarry as well.
McGarry Allen is alive and well.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I kind of went off the beaten path because it was obvious that I think it was Algiers' day. I don't know if y'all been watching the line for Abdullah Anderson for the last couple of days, man.
That's a good one,
a couple
man.
of games.
You need to get some more runs.
To think that he came off scrap heap and made the practice squad and got cut and brought back again. And since he's gotten back, man, look, he is making some nice plays. Yep. So I give him a little bit, especially in the run game. The run game when Kamara had a little better game than he had last time, but it wasn't that much better. And I think you start looking at cats like I hate what happened to Taquan when we lost him this year, but Abdullah is one of them cats that I hope we give another shot to. And my hope is we get better talent in here to where Abdullah, unfortunately, is
a rotation piece.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, I like that cat's motor, man. I like his motor and a defense, and I'm saying this again, folks. We were down 14 with 8 minutes left in the first quarter. And if you were going to tell me the way that game started, that they were going to hold the Saints to one touchdown for the rest of the game, and we still had a legitimate chance to win the game, I give credit to, I don't even know the guy's name, was the linebackers coach who took over play calling. Who was that?
Frank Bush.
Okay.
Yeah, Frank Bush.
I give him a lot of credit. I don't know whether the first two drives were scripted or whatnot. If y'all notice defensively, sans the Cincinnati game, defensively, our second halves have not been bad. And look, I'm saying this again. I know this is not popular. Folks, listen to the points we're giving up. 21, 19, 19, 24, 25, 20. Now, the Panthers game was an anomaly, and the Bengals. 14, 21, 23, 23. I mean, and we, for the 13th out of 14 weeks, we have in less than 2 minutes been within one score. So how much of this, I'm going to go around the other way. Dave, how much of that closeness is that good coaching, or is that bad coaching that can't get over the hump?
It's good coaching.
Let me put a caveat on there, Dave. Take away the roster isn't talented, because I understand that makes a factor. But if you're in 13 of the 14 games with one possession left with 2 minutes left, is that good coaching or bad? Just what do you think about that?
Steve, that's the thing of it. I don't think you can really take away the rosters. Right, we don't have the talent on the roster. It's got to be good coaching.
Yeah.
Because Because that's just the fact of the matter. We don't have the talent on the roster to compete right now. That we're supposed to be competing, and we're still within one score with 2-3 minutes left in the game. That's good coaching.
I hear you. Talk to me, John. What you think?
This man has made gasoline out of goat piss for 2 years. That's coaching. That's coaching. And that defensive staff that he has over there, man, just a few little pieces, man, we will have a defense to be proud of. It might even go down as a grits blitz type of defense because, see, man, whenever you shutting people down in the second half like we doing, man, woo-wee. I got to take my hat off to that defensive side. You know, like I said, I don't care about the yards. You're holding them out of the end zone. At worst, they kicking field goal. So defensive side, y'all straight.
And Miller, you right.
Yeah. Billy Mills says we see what the opposing offense is doing and we adjust to it. Something we didn't get with Quinn. That's an excellent point.
Yeah. My thunder, Billy Mills.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Shin had a comment earlier too. Anybody and everybody that's watching this live, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button.
That's right.
Appreciate it. Sleeve, man. I appreciate that, man. Despite all the negativity we begin from Tidy today, man, I just appreciate all the love the rest of y'all can. Y'all get it.
Going in on you, Tidy.
Y'all wanted me to come in here and call a Toyota Corolla a Porsche, huh?
Nah, dog, you gotta keep 100, baby.
No, we actually do that.
I'm gonna come to you with this next, Tidy. But you know our coach, man, Kevin Thompson's in the house. Appreciate you, coach, man. A Smith ball allows games to be close. Run the ball, flip the field, make the defense drive the field. Y'all don't understand. Coach be on point with most of his comments up in here. Tidy, good coaching or bad coaching? That you're that close.
I think there's a evidence of good coaching, and good coaching also trickles down to a team's will to compete and never give up. And that's one thing that I will give these Falcons credit for. You know, for what we do lack in talent, we do have a drive and a desire to compete for 4 quarters or 4+ quarters, and that trickles down, however you want to look at it, to the coaching staff, because that's something that the coach instills in you, you know, during training camp, OTAs, and all that stuff. Hey, boys, we're gonna compete. We ain't gonna quit. We don't care what the score is. You can go back to the Rams game when it looked like we was clearly beaten,
that's true,
and we almost stole that game. So I think it's good coaching, and Millie Mills really stole my thunder. I had set it up perfect to say, well, Steve, you remember what we used to complain about with Mike Smith and Dan Quinn? Steve, what we used to say in the halftime? They don't make no what, Steve. Millie Mills stole all my thunder. I was going to set it up perfect. So
that's good.
You got me, Millie Mills. But, yeah, we make adjustments in the second half, offensively and defensively. Even though we don't score a lot of points, we tend to come out and score some points in the second, and we don't let them score a lot of points in the second. So that's evidence of good coaching.
That's some good stuff, man. Good stuff. Winston, same question. Also wanted to mention Augusta Gator says you can't win in this league with a subpar quarterback. I
agree.
I'm trying to see, and I'm coming to you, Winston, in 1 second. When people we were sitting around waiting for Mariota's arm to get better, waiting for his play to go to a level we knew it wasn't going to. That's the maddening thing about Coach Smith that I wanted to say. Listen, if we're going to develop a quarterback, we saw the ceiling. What would y'all say the ceiling was for Mariota? I'm going to say the game for me that the ceiling was Mariota was the Carolina game. I think you got the best and still the worst out of Mariota in the game. He threw for more yards than he thrown all year, but he gave you 2 interceptions that should have lost the game if they had a real kicker on their team. But
Yeah.
I just feel like Gator's on point with that particular statement, man. You can't win with scrub quarterbacks. You can't.
I totally agree. Not in today's NFL because it's relegated to pass the ball.
No,
not in this league.
And I know everybody wants to, show their historical acumen by going back. Or Trent Dilfer did it, and Brad Johnson wasn't that bad with Tampa Bay, but they have to realize the game was so much different then. It was a different style of play back then.
And another thing, Steve, I had to interrupt, but another thing, Steve, you talk about historic defenses.
Right.
Them 02 Bucks, them 2000 Ravens, them 85 Bears, those were historic defenses.
The Tampa Bay team with Brad Johnson, they're one of those teams.
And another thing too, Steve, you said it was a different style of play, but a lot of people never mention this, but the game was officiated totally different.
Man, you could light somebody up.
Dude,
people was head hunting back then.
Yeah,
tiny
brush fouls, and then you can't check a receiver past 5 yards. That won't be called back then.
Totally different rules then.
And there was no defenseless receiver.
That's why you had receivers back then that were like 6 foot, 220, 235 pounds.
Right.
There wasn't defenseless quarterbacks.
Right.
Joe Theismann, as is pointed out several times, LT didn't get they didn't get a penalty when Joe Theismann broke his leg.
Nope.
No,
I mean, I'm just saying, you're absolutely right. That it was a different culture back then. We had a culture now where you throw a quarterback, you softly turn a quarterback on his back in the game and you get a 15-yard penalty.
15 yards.
They talking about
get fined.
They're looking now to
something else too.
Solidify whether they're going to eject the player.
You know what? That's good. That's good, and you're absolutely right. I'm on you anyway, Winston. Close games, these close calls, good coaching, bad coaching.
Great coaching. You got to understand, all right, I'm going to ask everybody out there. Pick 5 players on this defense that you will go be a starter on any other team. As a matter of fact, pick 3 players, take out Grady and AJ Terrell. Who will be a starter on a playoff caliber team?
Damn. Separately,
you mean on
nobody.
Defense or both?
That's a great.
Take out Grady and AJ. Who will be 3 players that will be a starter on a playoff caliber team?
I think Evans would probably be the only one you could slide in there.
I was literally about to say
maybe
Rashad Evans.
Rashad Evans,
Maybe Rashad Evans is rotation on the playoff team.
No, I don't know. I would start him
he started on Tennessee his first 4 or 5 years now.
I started for the first 2, and he come out on 3rd down.
Yeah,
I would start him. I would definitely plug him in the whole of the middle. But outside of that,
outside of that, really nobody.
Nobody.
Good.
So you got to think about it. If you don't have talent and you still in game, this defense may give up a whole bunch of yards, but they don't give up a whole bunch of points.
Right.
And they make timely plays. It may look ugly, but when they come down to crunch time, somehow they always come up and make a play. They give the offense a chance. The offense just ain't capitalizing on.
All right, man. Hey, man, ain't no thinking. You're not supposed to give us thinking questions, man. You're supposed to just have fun with this, Winston. We're trying to make us think. We're trying to make us think, man. That's actually really good. We don't have. Yeah, Anthony, talk to me, man. Bad coaching or good coaching?
I think it's good coaching. I mean, only the biggest, frustration with me in the defense is basically giving up a lot of third downs and, the busted coverage in the secondary at times. But I mean, you can't really be too upset about it. You started Troy Anderson, who's a rookie, at linebacker. Y'all notice Troy Anderson took 80% of the snaps yesterday. Michael Walker's
He
on the bench
did.
most of the time.
I
I
saw
did
They
that.
know
finna get
Troy
Michael
played
Walker
a
out of
lot.
there. They're gonna put him out in the middle of 75 and make him walk up the highway. He's gonna be gone. I mean, I'm sorry.
Mike
I
still
rather
got
put
another
Troy
year on
Anderson
his
in there.
contract.
Yeah, he out of there. So
Yeah, Mike still got another year on his contract. He's still in his rookie
yeah,
contract.
he can have
His,
another
his
year, but he
fourth
can get
year is
cut.
next year.
I don't see him being. If he's there next year, I see him on the bench. I don't. I think Troy Anderson gonna start the rest of the season, and they go either get another linebacker or see what he got. But besides that, man, you can't ask nothing more with the defense, man. 21. It says I think last 6 games or last 5 games, 21.6 points a game. I mean, you can't beat that. They kept you in every game.
You're right.
So
I mean,
that's just what it is.
and you looking around, Anthony, and I'm seeing teams like Detroit turn it around quicker. I'm
No
looking at
doubt.
Jacksonville turning it around. Now, Jacksonville had the benefit of a big salary cap to add on to those
Yep.
draft picks. But
That's how we lost 4 years.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think we have the opportunity to really do something. I'm gonna do a little bit of rapid fire here as we wrapping up. The fellas, man, I appreciate y'all so much, but we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire on some of these questions. My brother Alberto is in the house, 95 North. Y'all go sub him up on his YouTube. In my opinion, I think Dean Pease has benefited from talented rosters throughout his years, making his defense look spectacular. He now comes to the Falcons on some exhausted salary cap and has managed. Question coming back around. Anthony, Yogo, Dean Pease, yes or no, 2023?
I'll give him another year.
You give him
I'll give one more year.
okay. Knowing that he's
But they
gonna
got
have talent too.
with the talent next year. If they put it in the right spot as far as the draft and free agency, I'm not saying it's top 5 defense, but you got to be in the top half of the league, 15, 14. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking for. And you got to get a pass rush from somewhere. I'm good with that.
Winston, Dean Pease, yes or no, 2023?
Definitely.
Definitely.
This free agency, we should definitely heavily invest in the defense. Draft, invest in the defense. Get them in the talent. Yeah, look at it. Without talent, we still holding people. So it matters what we be able to do with talent. Imagine what we'd be able to do if we had a pass rusher, another corner on the other side of AJ, a safety that's not gonna sit there and give missed tackles all the time.
Right.
A,
Right.
a big man in the middle. Come on, man. That
Right.
one's a no-brainer.
Okay. Toddy, Dean Pease, 2023, yay or nay?
Yes. I thought you got to bring him back. I mean, Winston just made the point. You take away eight Grady, you only got arguably one more player that will start on a competitive team. So you got to bring him back, and also in free agency, I think Fontenot has to make a point to bring some talented guys on that side of the roster. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you definitely got to give him one more shot with better talent. And hopefully, more impact players in the draft, and the ones that we've already drafted, Troy Anderson, AK, Malone, hopefully they'll blossom a little bit more, the second season.
AK was real close on a couple of plays. I gotta get him. I don't know whether it's a matter of getting his strength up. His speed is undeniable coming through there, but I just think he needs that little bit just off from what we're talking about. But I think he's gonna be fine. He just probably needs maybe one more year to kind of figure it out how else he does the speed around the edge quick. He's gonna have to go through some of these cats. Maybe get a little stronger with that. Metal Musil, who you think? Dean Pease? Yeah, and
I see you wild tonight, dog. You wild
Hey,
enough,
that's the coach I want to sign. I want to sign Metal Musil or Maylocks. One of them two. At any rate, I'm gonna say this, and I'm this is my hot take for the week. anything happen to Arthur Smith, Dean Pease is your next head coach if he'll stay here. And that man that took over for defense yesterday, groom him up. He can take over. He can take over because see the thing is, when we were talking about the coaching, I was definitely thinking about the defensive side of the ball. I was definitely thinking about the defensive side of the ball because the defensive side of the ball has kept us in games per your rundown of the scores that we've given up this year. So Dean Pease, he needs to get 4 years. He definitely needs to get 4 years because if they go shopping and they go shopping right, the things that we need to upgrade, man, if this defense is doing this with spit and bail and wire right now, if he upgrades, man, I only see good things out of it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. What you got, Dave?
My vote's yay too, to keep Dean Pease. So and like y'all said, with the lack of talent he has patched together a decent defense. And my thing, and I want to stack on to, you know what I'm saying, everybody complaining about our defense and all that stuff right now. I want to stack this on top of that. Remember the last guy that was here and we complained about him going from 20 to 20 but not scoring any points? Are y'all some of those people who complained about that and not dogging this defense for doing the exact same thing?
Hey.
Valid question.
I sit here and think about Tidy's favorite player, Matt Ryan, and I just say, you know,
he didn't blame me for that this time.
Listen.
He didn't say Goat Freeman, so
he said Matt Ryan. He always like to hang that millstone around my neck.
But you get emotional when I talk about Matt, so I know. And I was looking. I don't know if y'all looked at John's live the other day. He actually had tears. He actually had tears in that second half. I'm gonna say something real quick, and if y'all were here at the beginning of the season, my son made a prediction for the Falcons. He said they would only have 3 wins this year coming out. He was a little bit off on that particular part. He did make the prediction that Ritter would be the quarterback after the bye. And I know that's not like brain surgery and stuff like that, but he did want me to mention that just to keep his expertise line up when he started talking about Ritter coming in.
Put that check in the box. Check in the box.
he tried to earn his keep in here. He tried to earn his keep. So one more thing, so we wrap up here, and again, appreciate everybody coming. This has been fun. I love, as I know, Toddy and John kind of always help me steer the case. I always appreciate my brothers, but Dave, Winston, Anthony, bro, we could do this anytime coming in. I appreciate you, and I appreciate more importantly all the people coming in the comments. I know normally I run down everything, but sometimes again when we have good talk, we're paying attention to y'all. Everybody can see the comments. But we appreciate y'all coming in. Last thing, and I know as a fan, you're supposed to ride or die, and I am ride or die. I'm ride or die with these Falcons. As we look at the standings as they are today, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 1 game ahead of the Saints, the Falcons, and the Carolina. There's a lot of minutia in there because division record head to head. Starting with David, do we need to stop the playoff mantra and just look for evaluation, or are we serious about making a run? And I'm saying this as a fan, not so much the team is going to try to win no matter what. But in your opinion, do we need to stop the playoff talk and move on, or go for it?
I say we need to stop the playoff talk right now. We just need to talk evaluation.
I'm down. John, what you think, brother? Playoff talk, or let's evaluate for 23?
Well, when the Falcons lost last week, playoff talk was over with last week, and playoff talk was over last week. Yeah, they lost in the bye week. I told you they were gonna lose. They were 10-point underdogs in the bye week last week, and they lost. So when
where
they
did y'all
lost,
find this guy, man?
Oh, you right there, bro.
Excuse me. Hey, Ty, what did I say the score was?
I forgot to say.
Interstate 20, Falcons 7.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
It's time, like I said, my expectations for last year and this year was not to go to the playoffs because, see, we had to get our team back together. We didn't have any money. We didn't have any, anything to hang our hats on to say that we were playoff contenders or that we were supposed to be going to the playoffs. We were mildly surprised at how good this team was in spite of piecing it together that we the way that we did. So, and I'm gonna tell you something. Next year too, if you bring all these rookies in that we're gonna spend all this money on, don't expect and don't demand playoffs next year because we're, that's me. I'm gonna say that's me. I'm not really looking for playoffs next year because we're still in the rebuild because the pieces that everybody, because we talked about all of the pieces that we need for this team right now. Defensive line, secondary, wide receivers. I'm not looking for playoffs.
Now you just said pay for rookies. We're gonna have our rookies. Remember the money we're gonna have next year. I'm talking about filling in spots, bro. I'm talking about filling in vet spots. What are you talking about?
Free agents? You talking about free agents?
Yeah. You don't need about like what 12 million to sign your rookie class?
Yeah.
I think less than that actually.
We're gonna get our
less than that. I think it's like 9 to 10.
Right.
You ain't gonna spend that much on the rookie.
I understand that, but remember, we are going to be in competition with other teams too to get these free agents and the high price ones. So,
there's no other team except the Chicago Bears that's gonna have more money to spend.
The biggest thing that could derail us.
It is no excuse.
Our re-signing of players that we already have. You got Lindstrom. Lindstrom's coming at the end of his 4th year.
Lindstrom is the only.
We can give him the 5th year.
Right.
He already
came to
he got the 5th year. He's working on. Before next year, Winston, he'll be signed to an extension.
You got McGarry who didn't get the 5th, so you either gonna sign him or you cutting him and go get somebody else.
Yeah, so when you start talking about free agents, I just wanted to see when John was talking about pay for rookies. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna pay for rookies anyway. So I'm not as worried about that.
I think in year 3, you got to be expecting to win. A rebuild shouldn't take.
You have to.
And think about this, and we on tidy for this answer. But think about this too, John. Look at this division. You could arguably say, even though Tampa is 6-8, bruh, they going this way. You can argue that New Orleans, I guarantee you, New Orleans has to shed folks this year. They have to. They starting to get into that Drew Brees. Right. That's they Drew Brees money later on. The only team that I say you might want to try to outpace are the Panthers. Because Panthers, their young players are going this way. And Lord knows if we can get our hands on, what's my boy name who was crying in the end zone with us? We were at the game, John. What the dude in the middle of the end zone?
Yeah.
The defensive player. What's his name?
Brian Burns.
Brian
Burns is a monster.
Let me tell you something right now. If Brian Burns is on the market, which I don't think he will be.
No,
It's time to Brian Burns to a long-term deal. He ain't going nowhere,
man. But if he was, yes.
If he was, no doubt. Yeah.
And
throw the bag in him.
Tidy, where are we?
On Tidy.
Go for the playoffs. Evaluate for 23.
Well, Steve, you want me to be honest?
I want you to be fanboy. I want you to be Devontae Freeman fraud honest. That's all I want you to be.
I'll just say this.
You gonna get that man a stroke. Get that man a stroke.
I'm reminded of a time.
I'll just say this, y'all. Every time I watch this team, emotionally, I want us to win. It's just like it's subconscious. It just take over me. And I'm sure y'all feel the same way being a long-time Falcons fan. So that go without saying.
Absolutely.
But with 3 games left, an NFL team who currently has the 7th draft pick in next year's NFL draft, it would not behoove this team to go to the playoffs, I would say. What I'm trying to say, I think our best interest long term to kill the playoff stuff, evaluate. And I'm not going to say the word tank because I don't believe in tanking. But I tell you what, we already lost to New Orleans. That was the only one I really want. You know, I was in it. Don't lose to these guys. But if we happen to lose to these last 3 guys, I'm not complaining. I'm just going to say that. We right now at number 7. If we can somehow find our way 3 or 4, man, we in business in 2023.
If we make it 3 or 4, we definitely going to get a quarterback.
Yeah. But
the candy shop is full, Winston. You got Will Anderson. You got Jalen Carter. And I'm with you, but I'm saying I hear you on the quarterback.
And that's the thing. If we lose, y'all, it's so much talent, like 1 through 6, that just really change a franchise. Like 1 through 6. Oh man, you are. But that's why I said we lose these last 3. go down.
Can we beat Brady in the finale at least and sit in?
Please.
Let's send Brady home at least.
I'm fine with that one. If we go 1 and 2, and we beat Brady.
If that's the difference between picking 7th and 4th, lose.
I got you. Hey, I'm just the messenger. I'm just trying. But I know I hear you. I hear you, brother.
At the end of the day, 5-10 years from now, ain't nobody gonna remember that one win against Brady.
No, they won't. They won't.
Ain't nobody gonna remember. Ain't nobody gonna care about it. But we could have a player here 5 or 10 years from now that could possibly win us a Super Bowl.
I agree. Anthony, what do you say? Go for the playoffs or evaluate for 23?
I mean, as a fan, you always want to see him win. You all want to see him win the games, but as a realist and as a person that knows football, like most of y'all do, I'm not an expert. Playoff it's not happening, in my opinion. Last 3 games, thinking about Baltimore on the road, they just came off a loss. That could be tough. You realistically, the only team you realistically have a chance to beat, in my opinion, is the Cardinals, but they just won the game the other day. That's gonna be hard. These next 3 games will be hard for the Falcons, man. And after this, fight hard like they're doing, keep it close. Get the evaluation, development and evaluation, what I've been saying for the young players. And just see how the offseason go. I mean, I saw something today that says, you're at number 7 right now, and if the Rams lose tonight, you're at number 6. And at the end of the season, you could be at number 3. Like, you could be at number 3 draft pick, which looks like Jalen Carter, in my opinion. I'm just saying. I like Bryce Young.
If we get the 3, we trading the 2, we getting Jalen Carter.
You can't
go
Jalen Carter, man. But even
I'm looking at that.
Think about this.
If we get the 3, we trading the 2, we getting Jalen Carter.
And look, I'm not mad. I'm really not going to be mad at either. I'm not mad at Rob. Look, we just at Anderson. We just started talking about how trash Michael Walker is. We started talking about is Troy ready? I think Will Anderson might be. He could be Michael Parsons 2.0.
Oh my Lord.
He could be. And if you just want to play the game, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't. But at least you do have a little bit of wiggle room there to go. Winston, who you say, playoffs or 2023 evaluation?
Man, to me, like everybody else said, I always want to see the team win. If we could go 17-0 every year, I'd be happy with it. But that's not feasible. Right now, I will put every young player that we have, every rotational piece that we have, throw them out there. Go ahead and start. Give you a half. Let me see what you have. And if you ain't showing me nothing in that by the end of the halftime, come on out, boy. I'll sub you back in or whatever. But I need to know what we have. As a coach, I need to know what I have because my GM need to know what he has because we need to figure out what we need to get going forward. And I know we need to get a lot of things because we got a whole bunch of one-year contracts. So right now, this evaluation period is very, very important. It's not even about winning now. If we pick up win, all right, that's cool. If not, so be it. Because at the end of the day, when we had the team, when we had the starters that we wanted out there, and we was running off win, we ran off a whole bunch of losses too, and they got us in the position that we in now. If we took care of business and won the game that we should have won, we wouldn't be in this conversation. We'd be in the playoff conversation. We'd be at the top of our division conversation. So right now, we got to look beyond just this year. You got next year, like you just drafted a quarterback in the third round. If he is potentially that guy, you got 3 more years that you can sit there and build talent around that for cheap. You have a bunch of young players, but all of their contracts are gonna come due at the same time. Algier, Ritter, London, AK, Malone, all them boys' contracts come due at the same time. Except for London, you can give the 5th-year option to.
Winston, I think you really wrapped that up eloquently. I think you put it in nice, concise words and phrases and put that together. But you just could everything I heard sound like you saying tank.
No, I ain't saying tank. I would never.
I heard tank. I heard tank. I don't know what y'all heard. I said you could dress it up, put some mustard on it and some mayonnaise. But I see Dave smiling. I see Johnny smiling. I think they sit there saying, "You want us to tank?"
No. To me, losing is not an option. I run through brick walls before I lose. That's not an option. But at this point, why not? Because like at the end of the day, you need to know what you have anyway.
Yeah, that's just
and if you had the faith to draft these players, show the faith in them now and see if they can show up. If not, all right. But at the same time, like we've gotten to the point in the season that if we had taken care of business beforehand, games ago, Pittsburgh, Washington, like those 2 wins right now will have us at the top of the division, clear cut.
I think when you start talking about the Falcons going forward to all of you, and I like the fact that everybody's pretty much prefaced it with, "I want my team to win." There's no doubt in my mind, but I do feel like, especially yesterday, losing that divisional game and quite honestly, the personal sting of losing to New Orleans and being swept by them took a lot of the wind out of the sail for the season as far as making the postseason. And let's be honest, we're going to either play a high-powered Dallas team or a high-powered. I could say high power, but Dallas will probably be your opponent, and I just don't see us matching up with them anyway. So I'm kind of under the let's kind of see. I'm in that Winston sneaky tank mode where you I want to see Troy Anderson out there. I want to see Drake and Ritter. Let's see. Look, we really have to do a deep deal on Ritter. I know people don't want to hear the let's go get Lamar thing, but that's something on the books too. You got to start thinking outside the box. I'm looking at the bigger picture. As an organization, we need something big this year. And whether that's Deron Payne in the middle, whether that's a flashy wide receiver to match up with Drake, whether it's a real cornerback to give AJ somebody else on the other side, or it's one or two really good edge rushers. I mean, difference-making edge rushers that can help this team. I'm sick and tired of scrubs like Andy Dalton and Kenny Pickett and folks like that back there that can look through three progressions before they throw the ball. We need to improve that part. So I can appreciate all the love for the Falcons, but I do think it's about that time, folks. My daughter is probably going to be mad at me picking her up late from basketball. I'll be ready to blame John for holding us back, and
definitely blame him.
Yeah, John.
Like trying to turn in that picture right now.
I can still shoot now.
I'm gonna go around. I just want to thank everybody. I think Anthony. I don't know if you're still on the picture, Anthony. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for joining me, man. You got any final thoughts before we let everybody roll?
No, man. Let's move on to Baltimore. I'm interested to see how Desmond Ritter does in his second big start on the road with a much tougher environment. It's a better team. I want to see how he do and see how the team respond.
Outstanding.
Against the Saints, man. So
outstanding. Winston, which appreciate you, brother. What you got for the last comment?
The star AK for one. Definitely start. Hey, Ogun DJ just ain't it, man. He's the edge setter, but that pass rush that we thought that he was supposed to bring, no, that ain't it. Everybody that's watching, like, subscribe.
Thank you.
Everybody that has a YouTube channel on here on the panel today, go ahead and shout out your stuff. Everybody that hear it, please subscribe to these men. They do great stuff, great content. It's been love as always. I've enjoyed myself. Thank y'all.
Man, y'all, I can't do it without y'all. Dave, like I say, I remember Dave when I was back in the other room back then, and Dave used to call on the phone and always had some good stuff for me. Good to have you join us in here, brother. Appreciate you. What you got for the last word, brother?
Everybody out there with Ritter, please. This is another like Anthony just said. It's gonna be another tough road test in Baltimore, and we're gonna be in single digits. Please, Falcon fans out there, don't expect 70% passing with 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Please kind of lower your expectations for the kid, because we're going up against a brutal pass rush, and we're going up against a decent secondary again. Kind of lower your expectations for the kid, okay?
I appreciate that. If y'all look over to your right, y'all see somebody look like they're in a Snuggie up against in his chair over there. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I've never seen a Snuggie that matches your chair before, because I don't think I've ever seen that.
John look like he got the small mushroom on Mario.
I cut this light out and you won't see nothing.
Now hold on. And Toddy could attest to it as well. We used to get used to seeing you in the wife beater all the time, on the screen back there. Have you gotten up into my standard where the pounds can't show that no more? What we got? Why we not with the t-shirt no more?
Weather changed on it.
Father Time is a mug.
The weather chain on the
Yeah,
Father Time
he's trying to run that electric bill up.
Hey man, I got what they call the furniture disease. Doggone chest done dropped down into my drawers.
Yep. Y'all know him here is John Harris, but John has been Preacher John from Union City, radio legend on talk shows. And more importantly, my boy, I dog him out all the time, and somebody else dog him, they got trouble because that's my ace over there. What you got for the last word, John?
Well, I don't want to say tank, but I'll say deep dive.
You want to say tank, you want to say base.
I say deep dive because there's no. I mean, thing is that when you put a team out on the field, if you don't play to win, you get hurt. You just out there pilling around. You're not, going 100%. So go out there, do the best you can. Baltimore, as a man has said, look, you're going up against a good pass rush, and you're going up against a good secondary, and this is going to be another learning experience for the quarterback. Now, one thing I wanted to mention before we go, and I know you got to go, there was an article this week about coaches. They just had a meeting with the owners this week, and they were talking about that they had spent $800 million in changing coaches. So all of those who want to be talking about Arthur Smith and firing this one and going and hiring that one, firing this and going and hiring that one, the NFL may be doing something to have you keep what you got a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's costing the league. It's costing the league for you to fire coaches the way that these people have been doing.
I.e. Georgia Tech. They still paying coaches from decades ago.
So right. that may be that's a discussion that we might have to have in the offseason, during the dead time or whatever, just to explore that. But the NFL, when you put a report like that together and put it in front of those owners at a meeting, somebody's been adding, subtracting, and dividing or whatever, and been figuring some things out and saying, hey, man, we need to look at how we're doing things because you're costing the league money. Since it's revenue sharing, you're costing the league a little bit of money by just just firing people and getting rid of them just like that. So that's just something to consider.
That I came with Brian Flores.
Yeah.
That was started that.
Yeah.
I think they CYA in that particular situation. I think they screwed that up and now they're trying to cover. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, trust me, it's coming. And just like Kaepernick a few years ago, lawsuit, then all of a sudden they having a meeting and taking a picture saying we good. That's what you're gonna see in this particular situation. Last but not least, shout out to my brother Tidy, who years ago kind of gave me a little bit of a opening of a door to do this kind of thing, and I love it. And I just appreciate you, brother, allowing me to not only get in platforms with you and just be able to do things, but always be able to have fun, chat it up. Y'all check out Tidy on the Atlanta Bird Gang YouTube channel. Please push some likes. I got to get into the shorts. He does a lot of the shorts better than I do on that, but I'm going to get into that. Brother Tidy, what you got, man? Last word.
Well, being that we just lost to those baghead ain'ts, and they're infamous for their gumbo, I'm gonna just keep stirring this pot that I started stirring early in the show.
Yeah.
Mr. Ritter, he has 12 quarters left to keep the competition out of Flowery Branch next year.
Fair.
If not, people, I will continue to remind you there will be a free agent coming there as competition, or there will be a guy named probably maybe Bryce, CJ, Will,
See that?
Ant Dog, Richardson, or Mr. Hooker to come in there and get acquainted with Mr. Ritter. So you got 12 quarters left. I'll end with that. And thank you very much for having me, Steve. I appreciate it.
Man, that's 12 quarters left. That's reality, folks.
Yeah.
That's straight up reality, man. I appreciate y'all. My daughter literally just called me and said something like, bring your old. No. let me get up big. Gentlemen, I appreciate you. Folks, I appreciate the comments. Thank y'all so much for joining us in the aftermath. Y'all check us out on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Please subscribe. Please like the videos so they can get out into the YouTube universe. And don't forget, I'm also on Atlanta Bird Gang Live. I appreciate everyone joining us on there as usual. Appreciate everybody, fellas. Y'all have a great night. Let's see this Monday night game. Check it out. Have fun. Check y'all later on. Peace, fellas.